check. 1, 2, check.
Test.
I have been living in Finland for 20 years now. I moved to Finland on May the 23rd of 2004. It is now May the 23rd of 2024, 20 years. I am going to list 20 things that I, as an American, have learned after living in Finland for 20 years. Number 1, 24-hour time. In America, we call this military time because only the military uses it. So instead of 1 p.m., 2 p.m., you say 1300, 1400. Number 2, the metric system. That actually wasn't that hard to actually learn because like when you convert from like having to learn all these things, like a mile is, 5,280 feet, and like a kilometer is 1,000 meters, and a meter is 100 centimeters. The language, that was a big one. It took a long time to start learning the language. Actually, I didn't really try to start using it until after I lived here about 6 years, but even then it was super slow and I was very lazy about it. Number 4, working culture. Working in America, there's this culture of kind of workaholic being good, and working 60 hours a week means that you are a very good worker and you're doing a great job. In Finland, there is 37.5 working hours in a week, and most people don't go over that. The employer knows that time away makes you a better worker in the end, and you produce more when you are rested and in a good state of mind. Number 5, driving rules. This was a huge negative for me. Basically, it's the same as in America, except for one irritating thing. And when you're driving down this road, and it can be a big road, and there can be these side streets coming in from the right, they might be smaller, but if they don't have a yield sign, they have every right to pull out in front of you, and you have to stop. You have to look to see if they have a yield sign which is sideways like this. It makes no sense. Number 6, American politics suck. Looking at American politics from the outside, I've started to realize that it's, at least in the past 10 years, become very extreme. Very conservative, very liberal, not much in between. In some elections, you end up with 2 candidates who nobody likes. We just had an election in Finland, and in the end of the election period, we were presented with 2 candidates, and both were very good. Number 7, I learned to ski, both downhill and cross country, because winter is such a huge part of Finland that you might as well learn how to do something in the winter that is fun, so that you're not just like waiting for the warm weather every year and waiting to get through the darkness. Number 8, learning to live on nothing. This is not a basic Finnish principle, but it's something that I realized is a big difference between America and Finland. In America, I always felt like I needed all of these things to be happy. And in Finland, I feel like I need a lot less things. For instance, I didn't own a car for 9 years after moving to Finland, and that was fine. And when I first moved to Finland, that was the first thing in my mind. It was like, okay, now I need to buy a car. No, I don't. And no, I didn't. Number 9, don't promise anything. Finns take promises very seriously, and that's the thing. You might not think it's a promise, but if you say you're gonna do it, like you say, okay, I'm gonna call you next week, and then you don't do it, you broke a promise. Number 10, be careful at pikkujoulu. Pikkujoulu is directly translated as Little Christmas, and it is the corporate Christmas party. And yeah, it starts out all nice and elegant and everybody shows up in nice clothes. But at the end of the night, alcohol takes over and people are being carried to cabs and sent home. Number 11, ice hockey is king. When Finland wins the World Championship of ice hockey, Number 12, avanto. Avanto is a word that they have for cutting a hole in the ice and going for a swim. And contrary to my previous belief, that will not kill you. It's actually quite nice. Number 13, sauna. Going to a very hot room with a bunch of other naked people, completely normal. Number 14, absolutely and under no circumstances will you ever talk in the elevator. Don't ask about the weather, don't ask how are you doing, don't say hi, and definitely do not sing in the elevator. Number 15, mammi. It's this brown poo looking stuff that they serve at Easter. It actually tastes pretty good. Put a little bit of cream on there and then sprinkle some sugar. Number 16, do not ask how are you if you don't care. That's something we do in America. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Nobody cares. If you ask someone in Finland, how are you? They're gonna tell you. It might take 20 minutes. Be prepared. Number 17, Finland does exist. This is something that's quite funny because I've had in my head since I moved to Finland that what if I actually didn't move to Finland? What if this was all some sort of a Truman Show kind of ruse? You know, I got on a plane and they flew around in circles and I'm just, you know, in Idaho and people are pretending to speak this foreign language and live in this place called Finland. Number 18, take your shoes off inside. In America, this is something that we don't commonly do. And now after living here for 20 years, I realized that why would you walk on the street downtown where like dogs pee, sometimes people pee, and then you come and you sit on your sofa and you put your feet in your bed with your shoes on. Ugh. Number 19, trust. You can go up to a store, pushing a baby stroller with your baby sleeping inside, park it outside the store, go inside, completely acceptable. In America, for that, you will go to jail. And last but not least, number 20, Finland is the happiest place on earth, or at least it has won that award for many years in a row, and it is completely understandable why. Because Finns are genuine, wonderful people, and Finland is a magnificent place to live. There are so many things that are great about living here, and I could go through them all, but that would be another 20 list or 50 list or 1,000 list. I'm just gonna say, you have to come visit, see for yourself.